welcome back. It's your boy, as blue as it gets. Post game, just coming off this Giants versus the Commanders. Wow, this team never ceases to amaze. But this time, it was not a blowout loss in some harebrained fashion in which records were being broken across boards you never knew existed. No, it wasn't one of those games today. It was almost one of those games today. It started out like that, but the Giants actually won a football game today. Can you believe it, ladies and gentlemen? I can't believe it myself, but it happened, and it was glorious. I know some people might be waiting around for the tank and watching the nosedive as the team is just trying to get to the best pick as theoretically possible in all y'all minds, and that's cool and everything. But for me, like I said before, we taking this season as it comes, and right now we got a W. The W is a very good W, a solid W all around for the most part. Let's get into some of the details though, and it's a good day just to get some W's, man. We took a lot of L's, and it's okay that you get a W once every 7 of the remaining games. You know what I'm saying? So we got that one out the way. We got it in. Now we can ride out the rest of the season and hopefully maybe just not be as terrible. But hey man, first quarter started out for the offense. Tommy DeVito was taking sacks this game, man. About 9 sacks in total taken for Tommy and the offensive line combined. Just it was more like, this is where it comes in to be a sack sometimes being the QB stat, because not all the sacks today were on the offensive line necessarily. Maybe Tommy holding on to the ball, DeVito getting, accustomed to being behind center like that and being in the spotlights, even though it's a 1 p.m. game. But, starting an NFL football game is his second start. But he had a really good game. He was taking sacks, but he hung tough. And he was getting the ball down the field, getting the ball to key playmakers. Big game out of some key playmakers around here. It's been a while. Some names that you haven't heard from a while. Some names you've been hearing. But oh shit, they started scoring touchdowns. I'm telling you, it was a brand new day today. For as much as it was, finishing out the season here, and just nothing but positives all around the take for the most part. Defensively, we were there. They were getting sacks, but we were getting the turnovers. Our DB secondary, linebacking group, all on point today, breaking up passes, tight coverage, not many penalties, maybe just 1 or 2 really on the defense, 3, that really made something happen in the game, but nothing that changed the course overall like that. And turnovers over turnovers. Sam Howell's been hot coming in for the Washington Redskins. I'm sorry, I keep saying the Redskins, but the Commanders, Washington Commanders, and he's coming in hot, man. Top pass attempts, top 5 in passing yards, things like that. He's been productive putting up the numbers. But today, he was not productive, not getting interceptions, because he was just tossing them up, and we were producing turnover after turnover after turnover all game, every quarter, every other drive for the Redskins. It felt like we were getting the ball in some way off a turnover. Bobby Okereke, huge game. 2 more forced fumbles for him. Made a comparison between his first 10 games for Bobby Okereke versus, or compared to Antonio Pierce from way back. And Bobby is right there. And now with these 2 forced fumbles in his 11th game, he's at the good pace of Antonio Pierce. He's not Antonio Pierce, but he might be. You never know, right? All right. So Bobby Okereke is on the defensive side, making tackles, forcing the turnovers. We were recovering. McFadden got a recovery on 1. Can't remember who else got a recovery. As far as interceptions, man, Isaiah Simmons finished the game out with 1. Cordell, I don't want to know. Darnay Holmes definitely got an interception. And we were just getting interceptions today. Cordell Flott might have got another one today. Pinnock almost had one, Jason Pinnock, but he dropped one early. It was a really solid game from everybody, being in position to make plays, and playmakers were making plays, both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively. On the offensive side, man, Darius Slayton showed up with a strong 4 receptions, 89 some odd yards, 86 plus yards. He got injured in the second quarter before finishing out the second, man, and we didn't have him in the second half. Hopefully he's going to be okay from that. He's really a real productive dude, man. He would have had a really, really, really nice game today if he finished out the last 2 quarters. I could imagine him having at least 120, 130 maybe plus yards, maybe another touchdown too. That's how productive the offense was today, with Tommy DeVito and Saquon Barkley and Darius Slayton, primarily, and Wan'Dale Robinson at some points. Sterling Shepard out there trying to make some things happen, but being an attention grabber. Yeah, overall, man, and Bellinger made it 1 or 2 catches out there at tight end, Daniel Bellinger. Yeah, just a great, great, solid performance. What you want to see out of the offense going on into the future for sure, as far as Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka, and them communicating to the offense how to make things happen out there. It's a promising game for that. And we got the dub. Defensively, just again, everybody was out there positionally, just tackles. Dexter Lawrence had 2 key sacks early, pressure all day from Dexter Lawrence. Kayvon Thibodeau, 2 more sacks for him, maybe 2.5, counted up. 1 got away from him, maybe even like 3 after a while. The game, how it finished at the end. Real solid game from everybody. Just pressure all day coming in to Sam Howell. And even though we didn't have as many sacks on Sam Howell as we took with DeVito behind the line, the thing is that our sacks, if we weren't getting sacks, he was throwing that ball into turnovers, which is promising because the pressure up front is causing him to get that ball out before he wants to, and the coverage is there to make it happen. And the coverage is playing a good enough solid coverage so where the defensive line has a chance to get to the quarterback and get sacks and get pressures. That's you on the defense right now is in sync from this game. I know it was a rough one coming off of Dallas, so you can't really say they're in sync. But when they're playing somebody like Washington, they synced up very nicely today. All around applause to the defense. Everybody should be graded out nicely, man. Everybody got interceptions and maybe a few missed tackles out there. Ryan Robinson, as far as some of the Redskins players, Commanders players, Brian Robinson had a pretty solid game for himself. 1 big drop at the end of the game that might have been a better chance to extend their drive or better produce their drive on that, because he would have been kind of open on it. But nothing really from Terry McLaurin today. Had Terry McLaurin on lock for most of the game. He might have had 2 or 3 receptions, but no big yards. I don't believe a touchdown. We won. Ended up being 30-something after that last interception in the game, but 30-something to 23. So, they were producing points, but it wasn't that much, pace that we normally take these points like against Dallas. Whew, man, there's a lot to go through on the positive side. Man, really no real big negatives, man. Offensive line, as far as the blocking and taking so many sacks, a good portion of those, some portion of those were on them. They were a little messy coming out to start, the gaps didn't look as contained, like guys were getting through kind of easily. But as the game progressed, man, he started to lock it up a little more, and more of the sacks started turning to just coverage sacks, mayhaps, and Tommy DeVito just being a young rookie, 2nd game, 3rd game on the field, kind of situation for him. But yeah. Everything else from there was just rolling nice. Saquon Barkley, man, he started out first half of the game rushing. We weren't doing anything. We had 0 yards rushing in the first half. He had -3 himself, but he only had like 3 or 4 carries on that. But yeah, it was weird because now we weren't getting rushing yards, but we were able to pass the ball. And I'm gonna go into that furthermore in the week, just post game. But we were putting up points, and now in the pass game, and then the run game was working. So it was looking like it was gonna be one of those games going into the first half. But coming out of the first half, Washington did receive the ball in the second half, and after they had their drive, they might have scored or whatever, stopped them. But we got the ball, and we turned it on, and that's when the run game came together. Saquon, big runs, 36-yarder, another 30-some-odd yarder in there. So 2 big runs of that, almost 40 yards on those. That's the type of 20-yard plus plays and big plays, man. And he's got 16, 15 yards over those. Excellent production from 6-year running back. Saquon Barkley was only franchised to be on this team because I guess he's not valued like that. Whatever. He also had The big thing here, though, is he had 2 receiving touchdowns on the day. No rushing touchdowns, but 2 receiving touchdowns. Both received from Tommy DeVito. One in the red zone on a wide receiver out route. These formation, it was real good scheme. Well, timely schemed up, properly executed. Saquon had plenty of separation, and DeVito made the throw on time and didn't hold it at all in that situation. That was enough time. But the biggest one from the game was a bomb. I can't remember how long, 40, 50 plus yards from Tommy DeVito to Saquon Barkley, right up the seam. He's up over and out wide, man. He took that up the seam, down, beat the cornerback, and pretty good space on separation on that too, and excellent catch in the end zone, man. Both feet down, back turned, and grabbed it. Safety coming over top, then touch him, touchdown. It was well executed. Just really in sync and flow. And that's when you knew the game was going to be something different. When, oh shit, Saquon Barkley catching a receiver and it's a bomb. And it was this when you knew it was going to be a different game at that point. Except for when the run game was going to be there. It was like kind of weird at the same time. But the pass offense was definitely something this game. Wasn't that first game where DeVito wasn't throwing the ball, just wiped that game. It was like the exact polar opposite of that. He finished up, I didn't even go over his stats. He finished up with 3 touchdowns on the day, 245 plus yards and 3 touchdowns. And just an excellent game. No interceptions, just mad sacks. No interceptions though. You almost expect an interception at the end there, but the team held up, man. It was a good game. Dayball told him something, especially after we were up, and we didn't take the foot off the gas like we normally had in the past. It felt like when we were up and trying to play things close. Now they kept things rolling throughout the whole game, and as far as defense, they weren't stopping. The defense was turning the ball over. So maybe I can't say the offense has slowed down, but the defense itself definitely didn't lose pace. They were still out there making plays, man, every quarter, making plays, and they finished out the game making a play, big time interception from Isaiah Simmons, and he took that one to the house, man. He didn't need to because it was game over, but he took it to the house, man. And it's good to see him as a 7th round pick, and he's producing. I think he's going to be something nice for us going into next season if everything is lined up right, and he's more into the scheme, more of schemed in ways, and things like that. It'd be real nice for us. Oh man, what else? It was Tommy DeVito, and man, I guess we have to give it to Tommy DeVito for pulling home the victory. No interceptions, definitely, and back there taking the sacks and surviving all that and throwing those 3 touchdowns, because the one to Darius Slayton was an excellent throw. Darius Slayton probably took 40 some odd yards on the reception itself, but it was an excellent throw down there and some big time yak, probably like 20 some odd yards of yak after that to get into the end zone. Darius Slayton, man, just great game for him. I'm sad that he didn't need to finish it. Got injured going over the middle. It was a good, decent enough pass. A little high, he had to jump for it. Took it in the gut. He's got some drops, but and then he kind of jammed his hand coming down after it got kind of broken up by the defensive back and the safety coming over or something. What else? Yeah, defensively, just Bobby Okereke again, man. The real guy who was leading, getting the turnover game going early and kept it going later in the second half, punching another one out. Yeah, everybody. Good game. Maybe not the tightest coverage in some situations, but again, there was nothing really going on as far as the major players like Terry McLaurin. Their one reception touchdown, I do remember, went to Don Dotson in that red zone there when the fade route, corner route to the side of the end zone. Oh man, yeah, out some there, and it was really a real good game for us. This is already long, but it was really good victory for us. I think I'm gonna finish out with that, man. And if I got something else in later in the week to say, which I probably will, just around how the game went, I'll do that. But this video right here is cut and dry, man. There's really nothing to smash out on as far as what was terrible. I think that's the first time I used the word in this whole video, so that should tell you enough. Uh, wow. So it's your boy, as blue as it gets. Moving on with a big W. Put a W up there. Go Giants. Catch y'all next time, and I hope you enjoyed the victory. If you didn't, oh well. Oh man, let's go.